Yeah, we're on. Hi everybody, it's Dara, and I'm here with Steve Adler, otherwise known as Sacred Steve, yes?
Yes.
We're going to hear about why he's called Sacred Steve, and we're going to hear about his sacred chocolates, which I have known and eaten since, you were doing them in 2005? Not that long ago.
We started 2006.
I met you in 2006. That's when,
Yeah.
yes, at Eden Hot Springs at a David Wolf retreat when I had just gone raw 2 weeks before.
Wow.
Yeah, how lucky did I get to
amazing.
like fall into that as soon as I went raw. That was an amazing place. And I see Steve at events and the Raw Living Expo, and we just ran into each other at the Longevity Now conference, and he lives up north near San Francisco.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, he's in town. I have to have him over because I want you guys to know, if you don't know him already, because many of you do, and if you don't know, the integrity in which he makes his chocolates with love is extraordinary. So you know that I love to share people with heart, and here is a man with heart. So welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
Yay.
Yay. We did it.
Heart highs.
So, yes, we're on. So, where do we start? You're like the Willy Wonka of the raw food world, the chocolate world, your love, your passion about chocolates, how you make them,
Well,
right?
maybe we should start with how I got into it.
How you got into it.
Right?
Go ahead.
Okay,
Yes.
so I got into raw foods in 1993, actually, after reading Tony Robbins' Unlimited Power. And I just didn't know anybody in raw foods or community or anything like that. And I just, for several years, was just experimenting on myself. And I realized that raw foods was really a stepping stone to greater spirituality.
Yes.
I went through different detoxes and cleanses myself just on my own. As I got into juicing and juice therapy and finally got into fasting, I realized that this was a huge, very powerful pathway to opening up the heart and greater spirituality. And right around that time, the mid-90s, I met David Wolf. We became good friends. As many of you know who David Wolf is, it's hard not to know who David Wolf is these days.
Especially with the NutriBullet, right?
With the NutriBullet, which is right here.
You're ready.
And so we became good friends, and David, after a few years doing what he does, discovered that raw cacao is a superfood. In fact, probably the best, definitely the most widely loved superfood on the whole planet.
Yes.
And so that raw cacao bean, eaten in its raw state, was just, would just nourish you to no end and make you feel good.
Right.
And so
open your heart, and without all of the
it opens up this, that's right, it opens up the circulatory system, it does all kinds of wonderful things. And so what happened was David would send me little cacao beans.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's how it started.
Yeah,
Wow.
it started around probably the year 2000.
Because he was like, really, we all knew that like Hershey's was chocolate and Lindt was chocolate, and you were at the beginning stages when he started bringing it in, saying, well, you can have the chocolate without the bad stuff.
Exactly, yeah. So
this only started in 2006.
Well, the raw cacao, I think he kind of stumbled in Hawaii. He kind of bit into a raw cacao bean at his friend's house and had a download and said, wow, why isn't the whole world eating raw cacao beans?
Right.
Like, they're delicious, and as he researched, he uncovered an immense amount of information that's super healthy. So at that point, around 2000, I don't know the exact date, he figured out a way. He got in contact with people and vendors in different countries, and he started to import raw cacao beans and sell them on the internet and promote them as a superfood, health food.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David Wolf. Yeah.
Thank you.
And then what happened? So he would send me raw cacao beans, and I'd bite into them, and for me, they weren't that palatable. They were kind of bitter, and they're like, I don't know. I could throw some in my smoothie, and that was fine. I couldn't even taste it in my smoothie, and I would do that. And then he wrote Naked Chocolate in 2004.
I have it.
Okay, great.
Yes.
And that kind of started a raw cacao revolution, actually.
Yes.
People were, open to the idea of trying it. They're like, wow, I can eat cacao and not feel guilty. I can eat chocolate and not feel guilty. It's actually the best thing ever for me.
Right.
Right?
You feel so uplifted without anything making you feel ick.
Exactly.
It's just amazing.
That's right.
It's in fact the thing that helps people to go raw. They're like, wait, I could eat this and be raw
That's right.
You know, that actually was the way I went raw, is I found a chocolate shake at Euphoria Loves Rawvolution. And I would, ooh, it doesn't taste like the chocolate shakes I'm accustomed to. The second sip, I felt like the energy, I got it.
David,
Got the download.
that's right. So one of the reasons
Yeah.
David Wolf and I started Sacred Chocolate is because we knew that raw chocolate was the calling card, the stepping stone, the flagship product or food that could turn the most people on to the raw food lifestyle. More than anything, we knew that because we'd already been in the raw foods for many years, and just you know, if you talk to somebody about raw foods, they're thinking carrots, celery,
maybe some date balls with
date
coconut.
balls. No, it was even before that.
Right, carrot, celery.
So that was one of our motivations, obviously, to use, you know, Sacred Chocolate raw cacao as this amazing vehicle to turn the world on to the amazing lifestyle of raw foods, which is obviously very cleansing, very heart-opening, etc. And so that's kind of how I got started. It was a combination of course, my association and friendship with David Wolf, the fact that he brought this idea that we could eat raw cacao and help us nutritionally and help us and be, you know, enjoy something guilt-free. And it was also a combination of my spiritual path. Really, in the late 90s, I was getting into a lot of different spiritual information, and I stumbled across some information that I've now been into for, you know, 16 years. And it's really about living in the heart, the spiritual heart, that sacred space within our soul where we're connected to the divine all the time. And so basically it was like a combination of all those things that motivated me to leave. Actually, I was in the computer industry, leave that and go into raw chocolate manufacturing. So that's
being
how
a chocolatier.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Go on.
Go ahead. No, that was my interruption. Carry on.
No. Anyway, so basically, to use raw chocolate not only as a vehicle for enjoyment, for nutrition, but also as a message to live in our heart. Not only we know it helps the physical heart because it's a vasodilator and it helps the whole circulatory system, but also is this message that, hey, the ancient Mesoamericans had a word that was synonymous with heart blood. That's how it translates, heart blood. So they even knew that cacao was most important for the heart, for the circulatory system. So what more perfect food to, basically tell people to live in their heart, but raw chocolate. And so that's kind of like, I said, I'm going to make it in the shape of this sacred geometry, heart shape. So that people deep down, maybe consciously or even subconsciously, get the message that, like, wow, this is, every day's heart day.
Right.
Every day it's not just Valentine's Day. It's like every day is actually living in the heart. And when we're living in the heart, we're connecting with people on a very deep level, a very authentic level. We're not in our heads. We don't have, ego chatter going on. And when we're communicating with each other as human beings at the heart level, everything is way more joyful, way more peaceful, way more just happy. You can feel the love flowing.
You can.
And so that's again why I got into the raw chocolate business.
Wow, it's just amazing to me, because just yesterday I was explaining when they said, well, what's your channel like? And I said, well, I'm passionate, I guess, about 3 things. Raw food, being the first to clean yourself out so that you can get to the heart's matter, so that you can hear your own heart. Decluttering your home so that your home can support who you are now. And the third is people with heart. And it's just the fact that this just is happening now, it makes me so happy to share Steve, who really does truly live from the heart, right down to, I just remember when I said, well, how do you make your chocolates? And I remember we made a video together once, but it was at Euphoria Loves Rawvolution, and it was very loud in there, and the lighting was bad, and I've been waiting and wanting him to come and do a proper video. And he had said how he hugs his machines and everything. You bless and you pray for the chocolate to be as loving as possible. Right?
Absolutely, that's the most important thing. I mean, the most important thing with any food, any diet, anything, is to eat with love and gratitude, and also bless the food that you're eating, bless the givers, the preparers of the food, everybody who's brought the food to your table, the farmers, the plants, the animals, if you're into that. Just bless everything along the way and never eat with guilt, and so this is so critically important.
Sounds so good.
Well, it's just so important because I learned from being exploring diet and being into food and nutrition now for over 20 years, that, at the root of a lot of, eating disorders out there, a lot of, whatever issues around food and diet, are really eating with guilt. Eating, the kind of getting into our head about like, oh, should I eat this? Should I not eat this? Is this good for me? Is it not? Oh, I ate it. Oh, and all that angst and all that, energy. Basically, one of the biggest messages that I like to give to people is like, let's step back. Let's not even worry about what we're eating right now, but let's like worry more about how we're eating it. It's like, let's step back for a second. It's like, how is it? Because when you're eating with love and gratitude and you're following your heart and you're listening to your heart, it's you know when to eat, and you're so more in tune with your body. You're just naturally drawn to things, and it's easy for you to say, no, that doesn't feel right for me right now. And then when you bless it, whatever it is, and take it in, your body naturally absorbs most of that nutrition. Mm-hmm. When you're eating with guilt, you're basically telling your body that, oh, wait a second, this is kind of like a poison or something. And so your body reacts, and it then tries to reject it, and so your body doesn't even absorb what you just ate.
Right.
But when you're eating with acceptance and love and gratitude, the frequencies are such that your body absorbs the maximum nutrients from whatever you're eating. Yes. So that's huge right there. Just eating with love can revolutionize health completely, just that alone, let alone what we're eating. That's a huge thing. That's a huge thing. Yeah.
When people say to me, okay, so how many calories do you eat in a day? And I thought, I don't know. If I had to add math to my food, it would make it would make it so unfun. I don't count calories. I eat what I want. And I think when you eat that way, you eat less because you're just so filled with what it is you're getting. You are getting the nutrients. I'm going to heat up the hot water. You can't talk because I have the mic on.
Oh, okay.
No, say what you were going to say.
We can switch the mic.
We have to. I think we should switch the mic.
We can switch the mic.
I think we should.
All right, that's good.
because you're talking so well.
Okay, good. Well, I have, I've been in this for a while, so
yes,
I have a lot to say. But so yeah, basically, that is the most important thing. And even these days, after being in this for a long time, I sometimes get the question, well, what do you eat? And I always say I eat whatever I want, however much I want, and so on and so forth. So at this point, I don't label myself. And I always give myself flexibility. And I always say, look, I just listen to my heart and I listen to my body, and that's what I eat. Now, if you were to track me, I've really kind of pushed the envelope as far as diet and nutrition over the last 20 years. So I've done a lot of experimentation on myself. So I know it works for me and my body after all these years. And if you were to track me on a day-to-day basis, I eat mostly raw foods. I eat mostly vegetarian, vegan. But I always give it, in my mind, if you will, or my heart, I don't limit myself in any way. If I want to eat a little bit of this or that, it's not even an issue. And in fact, it's good for me. Right. So that's where I'm at with my whole thing, because really I'm focused on the love. And like you mentioned, that's the most important thing with Sacred Chocolate, is that whenever I think about the chocolate, whenever we're talking about, I immediately bring into my own spiritual heart, sacred heart, all the chocolate that's out there that we're making on the shelves in our factory, and I pray that chocolate is elevated energetically. I pray that like manna from heaven materializes in the chocolate, so that it becomes like a holy sacrament, so that people feel that vibration. That vibration is what is the love, okay? And so people can feel that, hopefully, and they're affected by it on some maybe subtle level, maybe not so subtle level. And so that's the whole goal, is to really bring the connection of love back into everything: food, diet, our bodies, all food manufacturing. And so we're really a huge beacon for that. We stand for that, and that's what Sacred Chocolate has always been from the beginning, still is. Yeah, of course.
Integrity, is when your thoughts, I mean, it's a whole lot more than this, but it's when your thoughts match and your beliefs match your words and your actions. And that is exactly what's happening here to me. I have this magnificent man here in my kitchen describing, what he's doing with love and has been doing diligently and with integrity for years.
Yeah,
It's at events, at parties, dressed up like Willy Wonka with a hat and a striped suit. And the other day at the Longevity Now conference, the shirt he was wearing was just bright and colored. This morning when I was doing my writing meditation, I write a bit and then I color, and I was like, okay, Steve Adler's coming, and the next thing I just grabbed the brightest colors. I was coloring the brightest little sunburst. I'm like, that's Steve. All the colors of the rainbow are here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love color. David Wolf just had a whole longevity conference about the color code, the color cure, the color code, all the different colors that are surrounding us and in our food, and how they are beneficial to us. And I feel that in a lot of ways in my heart there's rainbow type vibrations going on. And interestingly enough, the cacao pod, I'm pretty sure this is a fact, it's the only fruit in the world that comes in every color of the rainbow.
Does it?
From the outside pod, actually. The pod color, you can find it in pretty much any color.
Know
yeah,
that.
isn't that
and
interesting?
And the inside, the bean really is purple. It can be purple on the inside, yes?
Yeah, if you cut the raw bean in half and look at it, it's this bright purple typically.
Your shirt.
Yeah, and in a lot of cases, it's usually that bright purple like this shirt. Sometimes it's other colors, but it's usually that bright purple. But it's interesting. So color is huge, and thank you for saying that. And you're a very colorful woman, and very bright, and full of light. And so it's not just, so I'm attracted to Dara because of the vibration just as much as she's attracted to me.
He's attracted. No.
But on a vibration frequency level is of course what we're talking about, birds of a feather flock together,
it's
right?
So true.
And so if you want to, and like Albert Einstein said, it's one of his famous quotes is, if you, and I'm just paraphrasing, but if you want to, create a reality around you, then, start resonating with that frequency. In other words, be the frequency that you would then want to create around you. So if you raise your own frequency, this is coming right from Albert Einstein, then the reality around you will start, resonating with your frequency. So his message basically is like, your surroundings match your own frequency. And that's what Dara is saying. When you clean out, cleanliness is next to godliness. So the more you clean internally, externally, it all is synergistic and works together. So raise your own vibration. Start with the food, start with your relationships, start all these areas, and everything, starts elevating all together.
I like that you mentioned relationships. Start with the food, deal with your surroundings, and then naturally what happens is we start to, that doesn't feel right. Or when we clean our bodies, then we bring in something that's not of the highest order, and it doesn't feel so good. Or we clean our room, and all of a sudden, we declutter our homes, and we really aren't going to go shopping at Target and bring junk in. So the more we clean, the less likely. And with relationships, the more we clean up ourselves, the more likely it is to spot something that isn't really in alignment with our current selves. So something in a relationship or our relationship. So relationships it's a really good point.
It's huge because, and it's not that you're all of a sudden going to judge somebody who's not resonating with your frequency. It's more that you can see more deeply into somebody's, situation or soul or plight in life or whatever. And so you can have more empathy, more compassion. You can actually relate to people better.
Yes.
People who are maybe struggling, and then so you can actually help inspire those people then and give them a helping hand and stuff like that.
Yes. That's the place that you get to, and I promise you get there, where you're coming from a non-judgmental place. And there might be a period of time when you start cleaning out and it becomes shocking to you that, I didn't see that person in that light. And you might feel like you need to disconnect from them in some way that doesn't feel as compassionate as possible. So I'm recommending, and Steve's saying, if you can look at it from a point of view that they are where they are in their soul's evolution, and that there is no judgment, and that you just maybe spend less time or you shift yourself accordingly, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's always something just called decency and knowing what's right for you, so it's not about judgment, but it's knowing what you're attracted to, and then stepping towards what you're attracted to. And hey, illusion and or just ultimately the toys that we play with until we're done playing with those toys of illusion, and then it's time to move on and explore life and evolve as a soul. I mean,
love that.
ultimately, that's what we're all doing here, is we're evolving as souls. We're here to co-create with the divine. We're here to learn our lessons, and we're here to ultimately love one another. And so that's.
Do you know what I've heard? What I've not heard is so loud. What I've not heard from Steve, and tell me if you've noticed this. What I've not heard from him, and I'm not even going to say them, are the opposite of love, the opposite of decency. He doesn't use those words. So notice how he speaks, all towards not moving away from X that is negative, but let's move towards what works for me. Let's move towards light. You're using all the beautiful, beautiful words, but that's part of living that life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is the languaging.
Yeah, it's just, like I said, it's just a natural growing towards greater love and greater light and greater joy and happiness. And as you raise your own vibration, the other things just don't even resonate. You don't even focus on them anymore.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't. It's not in my sphere, all those other things. And it's so great how here we have chocolate on the counter, and then it's all about love. It is all about love. And I was thinking, as Steve's coming over, we're going to be standing in the kitchen. I don't know what we're going to be doing. And then all of a sudden I thought, I love this. I love that. All of a sudden I was like, wait a minute. Can we crumble them in a food processor? And he said, yes, you can. So you can freeze them and then crumble them for like a second. You don't want to heat them to gummy them up, but you can have your own crumble for a cereal. Yours are perfect for that. Yours are perfect for just chopping up and eating in little pieces. Also, the reason I have the NutriBullet out, I said, well, what else can we do besides eat the chocolates and take them with us? And obviously, but for some reason I was like, what else can we do with these, right? And you said hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate's amazing.
Hot chocolate.
Yeah.
So is it the Bliss one he recommended? There's all different flavors. There's all different kinds. There's white chocolate, which is hard to do. That's amazing. You have the Amazonian one with jungle peanuts. Yes?
It has jungle peanuts along with 20 Amazonian herbs and fruits and nuts
I
from the Amazon.
remember, that one was one of my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah. So you said the Amazon, say it again?
It's called the Amazonian. I was mentioning amazing for those people who are into all the amazing cacao elixirs out there in the marketplace.
Which I have to mention mine that just came out, and all of you are reordering. So we could add a scoop of this if we want. This is my energy tonic with cacao, opens your heart, vasodilator, and it's got the reishi and chaga and mucuna to help you be happy, and the cordyceps for energy. So you can put it, and shilajit to ground you and mineralize, and we have a whole tonic bar there. So he said you can make the best hot chocolate in the world. So
absolutely. What I like to do with the NutriBullet.
Okay, here I'm gonna let you do it because we have. I just heated up some spring water.
Okay, wonderful.
And we have I seriously love the NutriBullet 900. I know there's another one that David was using the other night, but the NutriBullet 900 Bed Bath & Beyond 20% off coupon. It gives you a high performance blender for under $400. It's only like $140. I sound like an infomercial. I'm not. I get nothing from all of this. I just love my friends. Like, I love David and what he does. I love Steve and what he does. And I just want to share.
But it's fun.
I love sharing good people.
It's fun going into infomercial mode sometimes.
Yeah. Hey.
For $19.99,
I could do it.
4 installments.
Show me how you open the heart.
Okay. Well,
is there a special way to open? Okay, this heart. Do you do that before you open each chocolate?
I do sometimes, not always, but sometimes. I definitely pray over all the chocolate. I do hug the machines, that's true. We have a lot of fun at the Sacred Chocolate Factory. So this is the Longevity Bliss Bar. It actually won Best of Raw last year. What's unique about this bar is it has a super powerful antioxidant in it called xanthohumol. And xanthohumol comes from the flower of the hops plant, and it has a lot of interesting properties. Yeah. So xanthohumol is known as it actually reverses metabolic syndrome, and that's been clinically proven. So what it does is it reduces isoprostanes at the cellular level, which means it directly improves the cell's metabolism. That's clinically proven. And so xanthohumol is in this bar. And then also xanthohumol is known to be an aromatase inhibitor, meaning that it protects your good hormones from converting into bad hormones. So not only is it a master antioxidant molecule, it has those two properties. There are also a lot of interesting studies that we've posted on sacredchocolate.com showing what xanthocumol has been studied for. I won't go into that right now, but just check out all the science. There's 20 plus papers there. And depending on your genetics and your metabolism, xanthocumol has been observed to be somewhat mood elevating, but that's just kind of hit and miss. And, we can't really claim that, of course. But especially people of Asian descent, it seems like
so
seem to be boosted.
If
you have any Asian in your bloodstream genetics, then this could even have an extra pow to it. So, it
tastes really good. It's so creamy. It's so delicious. The flavor is exciting, and I can tell that the chocolates have made their way on a journey towards greatness. I can feel them. They taste even better.
So normally what I like to do.
That's not too full. Wow.
I don't think it's too full. We can always pour some water out if it is, but I like to put 2 bars in.
Wait, I can take a picture of it before you
want
open
to take
it.
a picture.
Yeah.
So basically, I like to typically do this with our Amazonian bar with all those Amazonian herbs, and our mocha bar, which has green coffee bean extract in it, 2 different types of coffee in it. One of which is my partner David Wolf's coffee, the longevity coffee. But putting both the putting both the mocha and the Amazonian together in this hot water drink, it's beyond imagination. Actually, it really is. But
we might add a little Dara to it too.
Of course,
right?
we are going to. We have, of course, we're going to do that.
But without it, you don't need it. You could just do the chocolate, the 2 chocolate bars, and hot water. Think about that. You can go traveling.
Yeah.
You can have David and Steve with you in your pocket. You go to any hotel room. I just want to eat it. I'm going online and ordering a box of them. Look at that. Melted chocolate. Are you kidding me? So think about this. You go to a hotel room. I didn't think of this when I was in London. I would have loved that.
Yeah.
You just put them in hot water, blend it, and poof.
Yeah. Like poof is an understatement.
Hold
on, we're going to put some of that in there?
Yes. Oh my goodness, wow. Okay, well, I'm not going to put
however much you want.
Yeah.
Whatever is your daily dose or whatever,
So exciting. You can use, in mine, you can use a tablespoon or 3 tablespoons. I'm just going to I'll put it 1.5.
Okay.
Because we have a lot of chocolate in the room.
Yeah,
this is going to really
we've
be
got a lot
exciting.
going on. Yeah, okay.
Well, let me put half of one.
Okay.
I told you this is really hard. It's like, it's fun. I'm glad we're having fun.
Hey,
That's
all about
the name
fun.
of the game.
It's all about fun. If you're not having fun, you need to figure out something else to do. That's what, until you are having fun.
It's so true.
That's so true.
It's just so true. Like, I don't consider anything work. And if it starts to feel like work, you better shift it around.
That's right. Okay, so.
It won't reach. Yeah,
Can
will
you
go
see
right
it?
there.
All right. Can you see it there?
Yeah.
All right. So you
It's
can make
tight.
sure it's nice and tight. You put it in here. It's going to be kind of loud, right?
Mic is on and we are on, and it's happened before, so nobody's gonna worry or complain. But the camera shut off while we were like enjoying it, and I was like 2 thumbs up, 3 thumbs up, 4 thumbs up. So they missed my reaction, which was like I kept sipping it. I'm like, oh no, oh. I can't even tell you how good this is. It's so good that we went off on this whole, I think a 12-minute talk with you.
Yeah, it's hilarious. What ended up happening is we were so ecstatic drinking this drink.
I didn't notice.
We went into some other dimension, hyperspace, talking about everything, and then we didn't even notice that the camera wasn't rolling.
No.
So now we're, this is take 2 basically.
It's take 2.
Take 2.
And we didn't want to, I was like, we're not going to pretend and start over. If we're like, oh, it tastes so good. I can't pretend ever. But what I can say is I learned, and there's 2 very important things. One is that if I had this in London with my raw travels with Dara in London, I've got David, I got the NutriBullet, I've got Steve's chocolate in my bag. You can get hot water anywhere. Put the hot chocolate in you have your beautiful drink to go. Add your herbs and you can travel anywhere. So these are coming with me on my next trip. Also, the other thing I learned is that I'm keeping my cacao butter in the freezer, which is not completely awful. But Steve is suggesting that we keep it in a cool 50 to 75 degrees, you said?
55 to 70.
55 to 70 degrees. So preferably a cool, dark closet.
Yes, ideally think wine cellar when you're storing chocolate or cacao butter. Um, Basically, cacao has this interesting property where it absorbs all odor. So it's like a sponge in that respect. So you want to make sure it's in an odor-free environment. That's the one
That's
thing.
important.
That's very important.
Mm-hmm.
A cool environment.
Mm-hmm.
A dry environment. So humidity and chocolate, not a good thing. You want to keep it as dry as possible, and you want to keep it in a dark environment.
So,
And if you can, an airtight, so keep air off of it. So if you put it like in a Ziploc, try and suck all the air out.
that's the part that was interesting. So you get, let's say I buy in bulk from Longevity Warehouse. I love their cacao butter. So I buy big bags of things if I know I'm going to use them a lot. And so I buy the big bag, and I like to take a little bit out to keep handy. So I put it in a Ziploc bag, and now I know to suck out all of the air and then put it in another Ziploc bag.
Yeah, and suck the air out of that.
Right.
Yeah, because basically what happens is there's always moisture in the air.
Right.
And that moisture in cacao butter or the moisture in chocolate, they don't really mix that well. So you just always want to suck out the air as much as possible.
We have so much to learn from Steve. Like, while you were talking, I was thinking it would be great to talk about relationships and love and how you do what you do. And so we're going to get together again.
Yay.
Seriously, such a pleasure. So, I hope I didn't interrupt too much. I am so in love with these chocolates and how you do what you do. I'm going to be drinking this today and be very happy.
One of the things I wanted to say about this,
Yes.
and this is how we got on the whole cacao butter talk to begin with,
Yes.
is that when you make a drink like this, there's actually cacao butter in the drink. And that's rare. Most people add coconut oil. Or they add some other fat, or maybe they don't add any fat at all. Well, cacao butter is unique in that it's a type, well, if you've ever actually rubbed some on your skin, you'll know it just absorbs right into your skin and doesn't even leave like a greasy feeling on your skin. It just feels moisturized. And that's why they use cacao butter in all the cosmetics around the world and all that. So it's very unique. It creates, when you put cacao butter, in other words, the whole chocolate bar like we did in the Nutribullet, it creates a very special creaminess that you can't really get in any other way.
No, it's true. So I was telling Steve, he doesn't know that I have my Intro to Tonics ebook, and I have about 10 recipes with caramel goji, vanilla peppermint, the chocolate, the coffee substitute. And the thing that I tell people is that you can use no fat, you can use a fat like cacao, coconut oil. Cacao butter will give it that nurturing, creamiest of all. And I was always sensitive to people to be able to get ingredients that are easily accessible, but now, the Longevity Warehouse, all you have to do is order a big bag of it online. It goes a long way. So you can have cacao butter, and we highly recommend it. So when you're drinking, my energy tonic, or you're making your own at home, add cacao butter. And if you really don't have the patience or the time for all of that, like you saw today, just have the chocolate bar.
Absolutely.
You're making it so easy for us.
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
And one thing I should say about the cacao butter is it's best for warm or hot drinks because cacao butter melts at around 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's why typically if it's a colder drink, a smoothie, the other oils are typically better to use because they'll more readily dissolve, like the coconut oil and so on will more readily dissolve in a smoothie. Cacao butter is better for the warm, hot drinks, the hot cocoa, the hot tonics, the teas.
That's a good distinction.
All that. That's where you really want to use the cacao butter. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good distinction.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to mention, I don't know if this got on the
No,
last
it
video
didn't.
clip.
Please talk about the hops. While I'm all hopped up on the chocolate drink, he's going to talk about the hops product.
Yeah. So, if for whatever reason you are just taking a break from chocolate, which is fine. Hey, everything in moderation. I really believe everything in moderation.
Yeah.
Even chocolate,
And
even raw chocolate. But you still want the xanthocumol, which is like I said, that super powerful antioxidant and so on. We put it in this form, which is called Hops X Factor. So that has xanthocumol on it. It has water, castor oil, citric acid, and grapefruit seed extract. That's the only thing that's in that. And you can put it in like a drink, water, you could just put it right on your tongue. And this is available at sacredchocolate.com. It's also available at longevitywarehouse.com. And this is, you can't really get this from any other source. We're working direct with the scientists who developed it. And xanthohumol has to be in a fat or lipid delivery mechanism. That's why it's in castor oil here. That's why it's in the chocolates, the cacao butter, the stearic acid is the delivery mechanism there. So it's a very powerful antioxidant. It has to do everything with longevity, metabolism, wellness, hormone protection. These are the benefits that
Meaning like if you have too much estrogen or you're eating things with too much estrogen and that kind of thing?
Well, it's what's called an aromatase inhibitor. What that means is it protects your good hormones from converting into bad hormones. So it's more of a hormone protector, and that's important, especially as we get older, as we come into contact with various estrogenic kind of things out there, plastics, whatever. This basically kind of keeps things in balance in that respect. Also, it's been clinically proven to reverse metabolic syndrome, and that's a clinical study and proof. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, so
and you also said if you're Asian, this is going to work really well for some reason. But there's a lot of phytoestrogens in our environment. We need to stop drinking out of plastic bottles. But there's things in our environment that we just can't help. And there's a lot of good things we can do for ourselves, which is why I'm always saying, there's not enough time in the day to have all the things we know to be good for us. Do not use the fillers, any junky stuff. There's no room in my precious real estate for anything other than the best, the things that we can put in our bodies. So thank you for your integrity. I really look forward to our next video at some point where we can talk about more. If there's any topics you like that we touched on, please mention them below. But I think that there's more to come.
Absolutely.
I really am so appreciative
I'm stoked to do more.
Yay.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, I feel really happy. There's some energetic thing. When you're truly in the presence of somebody who's walking their talk, you can feel it. When somebody's operating with heart, you feel so relaxed. Like I feel so relaxed in this video. So thank you again. And
You're welcome.
We're going to post all the links below so people can find you and your yummies.
Thank you.
See you guys soon, and
Bye.
get your greens on and your sacred chocolate.